everybody, and welcome back to a great edition of my Grue Rume Show. And for the Grue Rume Show today, we got the writer, director, and some of the cast for a thriller film that's coming out called Rub. And I'm really looking forward to talking to the cast, to talking to the writer, and it's going to be coming up very soon. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters. I am the host of the Grue Room. So stay tuned. The cast, writer, director of Rub will be coming up soon, and it's going to be a fun one. So watch it. Okay, everyone. Welcome to Grue, and thank you so much, all of you, for taking time out, coming on, and talking about this awesome movie, Rub.
Thanks for having us, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks.
Definitely.
Jenny, you're going nice.
What happened?
I love how you were going like this. Like it reminded me of the Italian person, because the Italians always go like this with their chin, and
They do.
It's never a good thing when the Italians do this with their chin. I learned that. I don't know.
An offer they can't refuse.
Yeah, I don't think
So
I'm
you're
going to
be
have
swimming for the fish.
right
So-
now. I mean,
Thanks for having us, Rocco. It's a pleasure to be here. I haven't seen these two people's faces in a couple of weeks, so it's I saw enough of their faces for 3 years. Get a little break from Neil and Perla, but no, it's good. It's good to see you guys.
Oh God.
Jenny, say something.
Well, that was a very warm welcome. Like I feel the love.
No, we're like you see in the movie. We're like, I'll just throw that out there. We're like family, and we dick around, we shit around with each other. We worked in such tight quarters for the last 3 years. I mean, we rehearsed for like almost a year before we even started making the film.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. So Jennifer and Micah became very close with each other over the last couple of years. I think that shows on film as well. But yeah, so it's like we're inviting you into our family for an hour.
All right, I love it. Nice.
The interesting thing about what Chris said is, like, we weren't running lines for a year. We were like getting to know each other. Like, I remember we had a very speedy rehearsal process, and I just got to, like, over the next course of the next 11 months, I got to really know Jenny and Chris's minds. And so, like, as we were making this really interesting, intricate, heavy film, I was like, I know what Chris is going for here. And then Jenny and I got very comfortable with each other, because some of the content is risque, as they say in Europe. And like, I came to completely trust this woman. You know what I mean? And I think that's exactly what you need in like a scene partner, is just like to be on the exact same page at the exact same time every single day, no matter what time of day it is in the shoot. So like, that was really cool for me. Yeah, but it was about a year. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God. I remember when we had our first dinner, me and Micah by ourselves.
Okay.
It was like, you guys need to spend some time together. That's how he talks.
We went to a place that was all Christmas themed. This was like, I think it was like July, Jenny, or something like that.
Something in the summer, yeah.
It was like completely Christmas and Donald Trump.
It was
Christmas and Donald Trump.
Yeah,
That sounds like a hell. It's like a hell amusement park right there.
Right.
That's what. Oh God. It was.
But this woman carries the wine. She fills it up all the way to the top, and she walks back like it's gonna spill. And I'm like, damn, she's really like trying very hard to give us the full glass. I remember that.
I love that. Yes.
And this was like a 20-minute walk or 25-foot walk that she was like bring this wine to us from. It's impressive.
I think honestly for us it was definitely meant to be, because he was in Staten Island, and I'm like 15 minutes away from there.
Bayonne.
Yeah.
And these two live out in Bumblefuck in the middle of nowhere.
Who lives in Bumblefuck?
Says man in peaks.
Yes.
Peekskill represent.
Well, I love I grew to love and enjoy Peekskill upstate New York. It has some
Okay.
beautiful, quaint areas. There's just so much history in there as well. It's just really, really, really nice to exist. I know that Mike and I actually had the privilege of having lunch sometimes together by ourselves while we were shooting, and we went to this area where we were like right across the water, and there was like a little village.
Wow.
Remember that? What area was that?
When was this?
It was
Well,
probably
we were
the
sitting
water.
outside. We were sitting
Oh,
outside
yeah, in downtown Peekskill. It was right down by the inn.
after
It
the
was down
bridge.
the road by the train. Really nice.
Mhm. Really nice.
Rocco, have you been to Peekskill before?
No, no. This
Yeah.
sounds. I mean, the thing that has me is when they were saying the wine glasses were full to the top, and no one ever gives you wine that's full to the top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
It's always a half of a glass every time you go out. I'm like, all right, where's the rest of it?
I know it's $50 for that, and I get so pissed off.
Me too.
People are picketing about, like SAG-AFTRA. We should be picketing the people that, fill their wine glasses up to there.
I know exactly.
Where the picket begin. Like this is like a nationwide thing. No more.
Yes, it is.
This should be illegal.
I
There
know.
should be people on the window of the restaurant that says they're gonna underpour you if you go in here. They're gonna charge you like your firstborn child.
I think it's a local thing around here because when I went out last night for my birthday was yesterday. The wine was more than half full. Probably
Really?
like this much emptiness at the top. Yeah, it was pretty heavy pours. I think they want that tip. Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I know we're supposed to do a podcast and we're talking about Rob, but I wanted to tell you, Chris, that where we had the after party, I know Micah, you were not there, but that was so cool.
Oh, at the Birdsall House?
I know we went for brunch one time with Micah, you and me and your wife, but the after party was really nice. I mean, the food was so good.
It was a great time. Micah couldn't make that one screening. That was the Peekskill Film Festival. It was for everyone watching out there. Our last public screening, film festival screening, was at the Peekskill Film Festival, and it was kind of cool because we shot about 90% of the film in Peekskill, so it was pretty awesome to be able to play the film for the community of Peekskill. And it was a really special night. And then 2 days later, on the 1st of August, the film was released on Amazon Worldwide and Vudu and other stuff out there. But yeah, no, it was Micah missed out that night, but you also missed out. No, you made it you didn't come to the after party in Long Island, but you came out for the night.
Yeah, you got some money.
Long Island. We were there together.
I'm saying Jennifer didn't come out to the after party in Long Island.
No,
Jenny's missed all of them.
Yeah.
except the one that you were not in.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're gonna do it again. I'm pretty sure. Okay, let's start the interview. I'm sorry.
We're just loosening up, guys. We're loosening up.
I just want to go somewhere where the wine is full to the top. That's it.
Come to Peekskill.
Don't tell me you have wine. Oh, okay. I was about to.
I don't either.
Not today, unfortunately.
After this interview, I will pour myself a glass of Pinot Noir.
Wonderful.
That's what I'm going to do, Jenny. You motherfucker, I tell you what.
So, trust me, this is just us. This is not.
All right, Rocco, is this what you expected? All right, so what do you want to know?
Hey, okay. Well, I guess I'll start with Chris because I want to ask Chris, like, what inspired you to actually want to write and make Rub?
Initially, the idea sparked from actually getting a massage, and not the kind of massage parlor Neil goes to. It was more of like a nail salon kind of place, but it's a dark room, whatever. I was getting a massage. A commotion happened like out the front door, and I was sitting there not knowing what was happening, thinking if something were to go down right at this point, like I am very vulnerable and I don't know what could happen. And it turns out I think it was like one of the women quit and she was owed money, and like her boyfriend was there. It was like this whole commotion that like I ended up getting a massage and I went home, and I just stuck with me. And then I started just wrapping this situation I was in around like a man who was, you know, unlucky in love, couldn't find a partner, just going through this is right before COVID too. This is probably December 2019.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like right before COVID. And I started writing like Neil's backstory of the character, like where does he work, what is his hobbies. I just started like building the character of Neil, and then I started writing a couple pages, and then I was scheduled to do a short film the day the New York City shutdown happened, which was like February, I forget, like 10th, I want to say. I don't know, that's probably not right. And we ended up not shooting that short, and then the whole lockdown happened, and then I kind of reassessed a lot of things of what I wanted to do personally in my life, and of short films and features. I always wanted to make a feature. I have like 3 other feature scripts that I needed a lot more money to do. So I was like looking for an idea that I know I can pull off with my friends and some really great actors and very bare bones minimum budget. And then COVID settled in on everyone across the world, and loneliness and mental health became like a major issue. And I kind of used a lot of that and put that into Neil, and then the script just kind of wrote itself in a weird way. You know, like I had certain scenes that I knew where they were going to happen in the story, and then kind of put all the connecting fabric of, you know, the subplots and sub scenes together around these major scenes in the film. And then I mean, I took a lot of personal friends of mine's that I've seen, you know, struggle through their life with women, or, you know, the same sex relationships, and just struggle. You know, not everybody gets lucky with a date or whatever, you know. And then that led me to casting, and then I ended up finding Micah. And then once I was far enough in the script and the story where I got the Perla, I'll never forget. I was walking with my dog. I text Jennifer. I'm like, I got the script for you. I think you're gonna be perfect. I told her about it, and she was, you know, she confirmed that she was in. And then it kind of just took a life of its own. You know, it was like a snowball effect. You know, and then I got my couple partners of mine involved, that they wanted to shoot it. We really came together as a family to like create the film. But to answer your question, yeah, it was just like that spark, that light bulb going off moment that happened. And if that never happened, it probably, I try to write about life and try to like take life instances and take scenarios and put a lot of myself into the script, and some stuff that happens in the film, you know, has happened actually in my personal life that that I try to, like, they say like write what you know. So I tried to really put a lot of myself into the character. And also, not for nothing, I think I'm the kind of person who's the complete opposite of someone like Neil. So I tried to write a lot of what it's like the Costanza Seinfeld episode where he does everything differently. Opposite. So I tried to write a lot of, you know, the opposite of myself in the character, because, you know, I wanted to also give a voice to all of these people out, because there's a lot of people out there that, you know, I don't really like the term incel. It's kind of like an ugly word to me, you know. It's kind of like the C word for women, you know. It's just like a ugly, it pierces my ears. But I think, you know, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, this movie's for, and I think can, you know, give a voice in a strange way.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And Jennifer and Micah, like, when you both came on board for the film, I have to ask you, like, what was your first thoughts when you saw the tagline for the film and also the script?
Go ahead, Mike.
I knew you were gonna say that. You always send the ball over to me. No, I listen, like, Rocco, this was my first role in a feature film.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and I've done lots of commercials and like theater my whole life, and, you know, I sing, and I'll do all that stuff, but this was my first role in a feature. And so at the time I was like, yes. ooh, yeah. And then you're like, you hope it's dark. You hope it's can be kind of twisted. You hope you can play someone who's like not you, but
Yeah.
someone who you understand, someone that would be fun to begin to understand and like play with. And so, Neil was interesting, and I think there's a lot of Neil in everyone, as Chris mentioned. Like,
Definitely.
the very underrated character because he's often ignored, and he's used as like the butt of someone's joke to make themselves feel better. But I just was instantly like attracted to it, and Chris was very formal and personal, and so I was like, yeah, he seems really cool. I'll make a movie with this guy, and then I did. That's it.
Okay, there you go.
He's
What
very
about you,
cool. It makes me
Jennifer?
feel great.
It's impressive. It's impressive that, every time he says that story, I'd be like, oh, like, wow, that's incredible that this was his first feature. I mean, he does have a lot of experience.
Yeah.
You do.
When I talk about that too, Jenny and Rocco, like I teach acting and I teach film,
Okay.
but I haven't trained my entire life as an actor. I've just been doing it. And, the last 15 years has been really fucking weird and crazy and challenging and like the thing that kind of molds you into something completely different than when you were like 22 years old.
Yeah.
And that's the life training, like feeling awkward, feeling rejected, feeling isolated, feeling alone, being alone, is something that people kind of hide from their entire lives. But I'm very comfortable with being alone. And Neil is like to the extreme of that. So, what happens when you pull a rock over like a sleeping broken monster? Like you get Neil. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to Micah's point, there's a lot of scenes in the film that were actually cut from the final edit that show a lot more of his loneliness and his the pathetic nature of how he goes about his life before he meets Perla. That it's strange. Sometimes words on paper when you're reading them, you're like, oh, this is great, this is great, this is great, and then when you shoot it and the performances were great and everything was perfect, but sometimes a 15-second clip of him sitting by himself sums everything up more than 4 minutes of different scenes, so there was a lot of truth for myself as a filmmaker figuring out what really sold his emptiness and loneliness in the very beginning of the movie before he meets Perla.
No, what do you think, Perla? Do you agree with that? You got something to say, Perla?
I agree. I agree. I mean, I can tell you this. I worked with Chris before. We didn't get to like mesh the way that we've meshed on this project, but I worked before. When he brought that up to me, I just felt like honored. Honestly, I feel honored to be able to be part of this project, for him to mention my name and say this is definitely for you, like I'm bringing this to you. And I was like, for me, really? I never seen myself do that before in my life. I've never really this is my first actual real lead main character title. I know that Neil is the main character, but of course,
No,
I'm leading lady.
Unless it becomes about Perla's story,
For the both of us, but you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was an honor for me, and I'm always grateful for that, because it definitely pushed the envelope for me. It pushed the envelope for me, and it allowed me to showcase certain aspects of what I've learned through life as well, and to showcase, the woman that I have become as well. There are no scenes in that movie where I felt weird or uncomfortable, anything like that. It was just so natural. Yeah. Everything was just very natural in this film, and I enjoy that.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah. And Jennifer, I wanted to ask you this too, like, the person you play in the film, like working in the massage place, like, did you study any of that to know how to act?
Well, I did do research about women that were being sex trafficked and women, in that type of life. Yes, I did do that.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I don't like to say too much about it because I do want the person that watches to be able to make their own story in their mind and
Well,
their
yeah.
own decisions in their mind about Perla. But you just can read her sometimes. Sometimes you're like, is she or is she? Isn't she? Like, and I enjoy that as well, so but yeah,
Yeah.
I did research.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think to also answer that question as well, like going down the dark hole of human trafficking and sex trafficking, like I read a lot about, people's stories, these horrific stories of these girls that went through like what Perla went through in the film,
Yeah.
and I took a lot of these truthful news articles that I read and personal blogs of these girls, like of just this horrific stuff that they've endured through their life just to
Oh,
get
wow.
to this country, and I think originally in the script in the first or second draft we had Perla being from Brazil, but Jennifer was like, hey, I think we can change this up to Dominican Republic so I can identify with it more. I'm like, yeah, absolutely, like,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, so it was a real group effort of like, making these characters as real as possible. And I think it does play well in the film. And it's interesting that both our lead actors, it really is their first lead role. And it makes me feel so happy that I knew, like Jennifer said, we worked together, and I knew in her
Yeah.
role in other films, it was probably some of the best roles of that particular project. And I knew she had that spark. I knew she had this in her, and I don't like giving myself pats in the back. It's not how I was raised, but I feel just very happy that, my decision, because casting is hard, man.
Oh,
You
yeah, I'm sure it is.
never know what you're gonna get, and it's my gut reaction. I felt it in my plums of
Ooh, yeah.
of these two wonderful talents, bringing my words on paper to life in our film Rub, and they both knocked it out of the fucking park.
Definitely did, yes. And Micah, like I got a question for you too now. Like
Sure.
when you're playing Neil, like Neil deals with like a little bit of a lot of people deal with what Neil is actually going through, like not being happy, alone, dating apps, being bullied. You're at a job you don't really like. Like how do you get into like a headspace to play a character like him?
I think you I think you have to understand bullying, um, what it feels like to be bullied, and then kind of to bully, on some level, because what it does to uh, like the development of a brain, you know. I told this story once, and Chris, you heard it, but uh, I was like, whenever I go to the playground with my daughter, she's 3 years old, and she'll run out.
Okay.
Is everyone having a nice time today on the playground? And these like kids look at her like, what the fuck's wrong with this girl? And they like, go off and do their own thing. And Lily's kind of like, all right. And I get so afraid for her to go into like a school system and like the disciplinarian, the governmental environment, that the idea that they're just kind of dumbing us down to be just consumers, that happens so often in education now. That I fear for her becoming like an assembly line, pony. And what people do to society is, they take someone who's like this, and just
Yeah.
so they're more comfortable, they'll like completely chop off their everything, like their spontaneity, their creative thinking, their innocence, their purity, because they're uncomfortable by it or they hate themselves. And so you have to kind of like look at Neil in this like timeline of, okay, I want to show what's going on in Neil's mind from like this moment to this moment. And I think it's just the understanding of humanity and how sickening they can be. And just allowing Neil to feel that, allowing like you as Micah jumping into this character and being like, okay, I can play you, buddy. Like you can trust me. And then you just start to play around a little bit. And I was allowed to play, and I was allowed to explore things. And you just kind of gotta understand humanity and how sick it can be, and play it authentically, you know?
Wow. Yeah. And this is a question for everybody. Like, you know, is there a certain scene from the film that you all had the most fun shooting?
That's a good question. I'll let the actors take it first.
You go, Jenny. Jenny love.
Why do you gotta do that to me?
Take yourself off mute, baby.
Let's go, Jenny love.
Come
I
on,
have several, I have several scenes that I enjoyed and that I love. I do have several scenes. Okay. One of my favorite scenes that I can say that I had fun was doing like the tripping scene when we tripped on whatever that was.
Whatever that was.
Yeah, it was
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. We came into the real reality. Anyways, so yeah, I was just laying on the floor and just having, you know, the camera right above us, and we were just there, just vibing and just feeding from each other through our telepathically, I think it was, because our heads were like there and we were just like being high together, even though we were not high.
No, like I know that Jenny really needed that extra push, so I was feeding her like different types of foods beforehand, like try this, I brought grapes, and then like I end up giving her some LSD drops.
My God, that's what that was.
One day of like acting alongside me. It can't just be me. You know what I mean? And like that day, Jenny really came through. She really tripped.
Okay.
That was awesome because there's one time when Perla was like, "Your teeth, they're so white." I have no idea.
That's in the cut. That made it in the film. Yeah.
Yeah. Your teeth.
They're so white. The outtakes of that, what's cool about that scene is we had exteriors to do that night, and it was pouring rain for like 3 days straight.
Oh my God! And
we're like, fuck, I have all these actors, and we couldn't do the exterior scenes. We're like, what can we do? So we put our heads together and shot that, and tried to be as productive and creative as possible. And we ended up shooting that particular scene that Jenny was talking about in our studio, in my studio, during a huge thunderstorm. And we did some other stuff that night inside as well. Yeah, so that's a good choice right there, Jenny.
It was fun. It was fun. I love it.
Good job, Jenny.
Good job, Micah.
No, Jenny.
Good job. Because then all the cartoonish things started happening. It was incredible, all of that, and that was you.
That happened in real life.
Yeah, I know.
That was not actually an animation. That actually
you just transformed.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
You went to the other realm.
I knew it.
and Chris came with me.
Chris went with you.
I was there. I was feeding him the drugs the entire time.
Hey, there you go.
It was incredible. Yeah, he really pushed the envelope. He went pushed. No, seriously, like who does that? Like the way that the character how Neil just reacted, and from the beginning when he gets pulled out of whatever and goes out and just does whatever experience he was having, tripping. It was just, yeah, it was great.
Nice. Yeah. And what about the rest of you? What are some of your fun a scene that you had the most fun shooting?
You can go, Micah. I know mine. I'll let Micah go.
No, I think Honestly, I think it was the hotel bit. You know, starting off with the buzzing of the hair. It was very ASMR for me. It put me in a trance, and I remember kind of hypnotizing myself,
Oh
like
wow.
when I was getting my hair cut. I think I woke up and my hair was buzzed. And I was like, "We got it right." But yeah, I remember being in a state of mind when I was getting my hair trimmed.
He did say,
Okay.
he did ask, we got it right. I was like,
It's kind of a magical night. It's
Yeah,
kind of
thank God we got that right.
that was a great scene as well. I have so many.
beautifully shot. It was beautifully crafted. You know, like I think that's one of the first times that Neil and Perla have
Mhm.
moment of like letting each other in,
Yeah.
very intimate, and it was both in their own ways. They both were achieving an objective that they needed to achieve to like feel a sense of just independence, no matter what it was. And yeah, it was just a very nice time.
Yeah,
Jennings.
no, it was a special scene. It was a closed set. It was just us three and our DP, Bobby Sansevero, and Cassidy, our makeup girl. You know, it was a very intimate scene, that entire sequence. Yeah, I think my favorite, you know, 'cause as the director and writer, you know, a lot of it wasn't fun as much as it's, you know,
Well, yeah.
as far as it is to say, a lot of the stuff is very aggravating and very stressful and very am I getting everything I need kind of thing, you know, and then you got 1,000 people asking 1,000 fucking questions, and you know, it's we're not a Hollywood production where it's like, you know, which is good and bad, because then you have 40 assholes standing around doing nothing and you're just wasting money. So it's like
Right.
it's a good and a bad way, good and the bad thing about making indie films, that you get to make all the decisions, but then the bad thing is you get to make all the decisions, you know. So it can go both ways. But I think like the best time I actually had where I was like let loose and was like, let's fucking go, was probably, hey Lily, was probably the escape from the parlor scene. That was probably
Yes.
because I always had it in my head,
Yes.
and I knew, I scouted that location, thinking through so many times, and I just was ready, and I couldn't wait to see what we were gonna do with it, you know. And when they turned that corner right there, I was like, yes, 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 like
Right. Yes. Exactly.
just so good, you know. And then the woman on the street with the phone, and I don't, you know, this, we have some spoilers on this podcast tonight, but yeah, that was the logistics of that, getting that like, all framed, so like, you know, it all worked properly. Then them getting in the car, and that whole sequence, you know, was just fun, because I just always had it here, but you never know if when you have it here, if you're going to get it out there on film properly. So that was kind of a really fun experience as well. And then a scene where neither of these two wonderful talents are in was in the hotel with our hotel clerk and our Chris Kamaz, our Albanian gangster. You know, that scene is just it's just funny shit, man. And you know, he makes me laugh. It's really funny stuff. And we you know, we went off script a little bit, and
Oh wow.
I'd say about that scene's about 90% script, but there's some stuff that he said that wasn't, that ended up working. It made it to the final cut.
Oh okay.
Yeah. But yeah, those two scenes for me are the ones that stuck out. And like I said, a lot of the rest of it was kind of aggravating, and just tried to
Oh yeah. I'm
like,
sure.
put the puzzle pieces together to make the puzzle, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
this sometimes on the outside looking in, things look like it's fun and it's a great, you know, lifestyle, but in the inside, it's a lot of hard work and a lot of hard work.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Especially if you're mainly like the person doing mostly all the stuff on set, like directing, writing. I'm sure you were running around like crazy. So yeah, like it stops being fun then after a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because there's like a fine line of like it being fun and challenging. Like if something's not challenging, then why even do it? You know, and that's kind of like
Yeah.
someone asked us a question at one of our festival Q&As, like, why did you make this film? Typically films are made before an audience. I said, I made this film for me. I made this film if I can personally do this. You know, it was like a testament to myself. And I think in life, not just film, if you don't do things for yourself, you don't love yourself, then, you know, something's wrong. You have to like really, you know, push yourself to boundaries. If something's easy to do, like I typically don't want to do that, you know. Unless it's my day job and I make a lot of money and I can just make a lot of money doing nothing. That'd be great, you know. But yeah, you have to challenge yourself and push yourself to boundaries, and you know, it's all part of the shtick of making an independent film.
Oh yeah. And Chris, I also wanted to ask you, like, where was everything shot at? Like, where was the locations and stuff?
Yeah, I would say we shot about 90% of the film in Peekskill, New York.
All right.
Which is, yeah, Peekskill's, if people, whoever out there watching, Peekskill is one of many river towns that go up the Hudson River. There's like Tarrytown, Irvington, Peekskill, Cortland, Cold Spring, and Beacon, all the way up to Poughkeepsie and stuff. So yeah, it's my home. It's not I didn't grow up there. I grew up in the next town over, but I have a studio there for the last 10 years, and I'm involved in the community. So yeah, we shot about 90% of it in downtown Peekskill, and then the rest around like a 15-mile radius in the woods when they go on their adventure.
Yeah,
that was shot about 10 miles away from downtown Peekskill. So all within the lower Hudson Valley of New York.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
And Jennifer, Micah, like, I wanted to ask you, as both of the leads of the film, was there any funny or cool stories that happened on set for you both?
Go ahead, Micah.
No, you go, Jenny. Stop this game.
It was always fun and funny. I can't really pinpoint because it was always some funny stuff happening. We just had a good vibe, and we were blessed to be able to have good vibes and just be funny. Like Micah and I, you know, we were living basically in the same Airbnb for, you know, how long? Like, how long were we like in the Airbnb?
I think total 2 weeks, maybe a little less than that. Because I was there for about a week before Jenny shot her principal photography, shooting all of Neil's coverage. But you know, honestly, Rocco, you wake up and you go, thank God I'm doing something creative today with good people, and that's it. Yeah. There's no magical goose that I found on set. It's just like, you know, you don't want to go home and kill yourself and like drown yourself in a bottle. I'll do sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You do that after the shoot day's over.
After the shoot, right?
Yeah. But it's nice, and filmmakers like Chris and like Bobby and, you know, like Nick, you know, everyone's just like, they work in the industry all the time. They do different projects. You know, they're getting more and more well known, and they should be. Same with Jenny and I. And it's just like, you hope that you can continue to make good shit with good people as you get older and older and older, and then die happy. Die with like being like, this guy died, let's watch his movies. He was great. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. There's nothing magical, you know, that we discovered except for like each other. You know, and that's what I took away from it.
It was great.
You know, that's true what you just said. Like, when someone does die, it's like an actor or singer, like, you go and watch the film or listen to the song. Like, that's so true.
Yeah, the moment
he had to die,
you become the most person in the world for that day. You know, an actor dies and you go, oh yeah, him. Yeah, I love him. It's like, bullshit. You haven't watched his movies for the last 10 years. You know what I mean?
We talked about that at the beach a couple of weeks ago, me and Micah. I was like, I had this phobia that I was gonna die before this film came out. And
no.
Yeah, and like it would go on to whatever, you know, and not be able to ever just see.
That's my biggest fear as well, Chris. You know, we're two dads on the beach just talking about movies and like what our fear is with dying early in our movies, just sit in a fucking hard drive.
Yeah. I hope that's a movie you guys are making.
Oh, believe me, Jenny. We're already going.
It's a movie that you guys are making, honestly.
Oh, it's already in pre-production.
Progress, okay.
There you go, right?
Yeah.
And I always like to ask my guests this when I have them on. As you can see, I'm a big horror fan. Are there any horror films that you all like watching?
First of all, The Crow is not a horror film. I
Well,
love
no, that's not a, that's just like my
Oh,
all-time
yeah.
best film ever. Like, so I have to
I,
throw that in
I
there with
have to get
Chucky.
sassy with that one because The Crow. Not everybody gets The Crow, but I get The Crow, and it's just.
I
Space.
love The Crow. Like, that's
Yeah.
my all-time favorite. Like, nothing in my opinion like tops that movie. It was
great.
so well made.
Yes, yes, it was awesome, man.
I don't really have any horror films that I'm like crazy about. I love watching horrors and thrillers, but I don't really have, you know, one top one that I love, I wouldn't say.
Horror thrillers, my favorite horror thriller probably would be like the original, like The Blob, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like I like obviously the original Blob, but I'm probably the one of the like a handful of people that love the Kevin Dillon Blob, like the ones from the 80s. You know, it's so campy and so funky, and my dad was really into that kind of shit when I was a kid.
All right.
Obviously, The Exorcist is
Yeah.
all time great, and then something like The Shining, you know. And then I would go like Scream was an amazing film. Very recently, I would say Barbarian was like one of the cool.
That was really good. I
yeah,
love
like
that
the, like the ending could have been a little bit better, but like, you know, it's hard to make a feature film and have it be everything lights out perfect and be great, you know.
That's
And
true.
the ending served its purpose for sure, but that first hour really, I'm pretty good at like knowing where a film's gonna go.
Yeah.
And that completely kept me on my edge of my seat, which was pretty rad. But yeah, like Micah said, I'm not like a huge horror guy.
Yeah.
More of like a thriller kind of long drama format kind of stuff. But yeah, Barbarian was pretty sick.
I can tell you this now that I've seen The Blob.
Swamp Thing.
Blob's a shit. I love that movie.
I've seen The Blob. Hellraiser, really scary.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There you go.
There's this Japanese film called Audition.
Yes, I saw that. That was crazy. Yeah.
Insane.
Yes.
I'm actually like writing a character inspired by that character because she is crazy. Because
she really was in that.
She went like the way she tortures her victims through her psychology, and then just the way like it's just a mind game, ridiculous mind game, and just the torturing of the needles in the body, in the eye, with the tongue. Oh my god, insane! If you haven't seen The Audition, it's like from 1999. It's a Japanese movie.
Yeah, it's really good.
You can find it.
The Audition. I need to peep that.
Yeah, you could find it. I think YouTube or Tubi, something like that. It's called Audition. It's Japanese. It's in Japanese, but it has the subtitles in English. It's so the torturing of it, everything about it, the psychology behind it, all of that. It's pretty good. Still awesome at this time. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you.
And if you were all doing a karaoke song, what would be your go-to song?
Yeah, I have footage. I have footage of Micah doing karaoke.
Oh, all right.
Send it to him. He can place it in there.
Oh my god, I will send it to you. Definitely, Rocco. I have footage. We were on a break and we went to have some tacos. And you know that taco place up the block we were filming.
And I was in costume.
And get out, really?
I was in costume. I have some footage. I even made a little gif out of it.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
I would sing Showdown by ELO.
All right, okay.
Don't be surprised. This guy is actually a real singer.
Oh.
Real. Like he's
Yeah.
What's your song, Jenny? Gasolina. Have a gasolina.
Come with Selena. Bidi bidi bamba.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah, I'm more of like a boleros type of women.
Okay.
Boleros, romantic, classical jazz or Brazilian jazz, that kind of stuff.
Jenny, can you sing? Can you sing?
I'm not a singer. I'm just a poet. I can chant and poet. I
She
can
is.
defend myself singing, but I am not a singer.
She does some mean poetry slammer.
Yeah, I could do that. But
It's from the Jenny galaxy up above. Just like a turned into a woman just to walk amongst us. Truth.
oh Lord.
Well,
I tell you that Perla at the when we were having that in the hotel when we were having that scene, our sex scene, Perla turned into a goddess at that moment.
In his eyes, she did.
Yeah, to see it on the screen, like you can see that she's just kind of transformed. I don't know, it just happened. It was just like
in full control.
Yeah, it was just crazy. And like as I watch it now, it's like, oh my gosh, she's totally transformed. She's totally a goddess and in control, and he is just really becoming in tune and feeling something that he's never felt before.
Exactly.
You know, it was incredible. Yeah,
definitely was. Karaoke song for me.
Yeah.
Probably like I don't know. I used to howl a lot of like Roadhouse Blues by the Doors or something like that.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Or No Rain by Blind Melon.
Oh my God. Yes, I remember that song.
Yeah, Shannon Hoon, one of the greatest really one of my favorite singers of all time. God rest his soul. But his octave range is so high, so it's like I kind of have to sing a falsetto in a weird way, you know. Yeah, those are fun. But then I think usually it takes enough alcohol in the system to actually do karaoke. And then at that time I just want to just scream like Jim Morrison, you know.
Okay, there you go. And we talked about this before I start taping and all that. So we all love the cartoon, the movies of the turtles. So which turtle is your favorite?
Oh, I'll let you guys go.
Raphael, man, Raphael's a badass. Raphael's the guy that sticks around longer just to beat some ass.
He does. Oh my God, you actually know the Ninja Turtles? Wow. Oh
yeah, to him, and then Lily watches them now too. Like, okay, this is this guy. This is good. This is and I like explain it to her, but. Raphael's a badass, and he goes out by himself sometimes just because he's a warrior, is passionate.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Yes, he is. I mean, so like I said, I love Raphael and I love Michelangelo. I just love, the way he's just very chill and very about just chilling and love and just enjoying the moment type of thing. So I enjoy that about him, so he's pretty cool in my book.
Yeah.
Well, this all sparked from your T-shirt, Jenny. So
I know, right? Exactly.
I would probably my knowledge of the Turtles. I haven't seen the newest film. We talked offline. The original films, which is still I want to go hang out at that skateboarding warehouse where all the bad kids go to.
Yes.
It's like, come, we have drugs and skateboards and stuff. It's like but I would probably say Michelangelo because of the old films. I think it was Corey Feldman was the voice, and it was just he's always everything was a joke to him, and I think that's he was always a jokester, prankster of the bunch. I think that's I identify with that definitely.
Yeah, that's who I like the best too. Mikey was always Mikey was always my guy.
That's awesome. You know what? Going backwards, I just see Chucky, man. The original Child's Play, that shit is fucking gnarly, dude. That scared the crap out of me. I was like 8 years old when that came out. That was a freaky freak. I didn't see the rest of them, like Chucky's Bride.
Yeah.
Got into the original Child's Play was like a great horror film.
Okay.
I mean, when that film came out, like any kid that had a doll was like scared to death of their doll was going to come to life and kill them.
Yeah. Yes. Too scared.
Yeah.
I used to have nightmare about Freddy Krueger. Remember Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, Freddy was the best. He had the good one-liners. He was like It's like Fletch, but just like murdering people. Yeah, Freddy was the best. I haven't seen the remake. I don't even know why they even tried to remake.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't even see the remake either. I know my nightmares were about, like, you know, when he'll call on the phone and you pick up the phone and the tongue comes out of the phone.
Yes, I remember that
Oh
scene.
my God.
Look at
Yeah, and the tongue comes out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. Even the first one with Johnny Depp and the bed,
Yeah.
the blood, like
Yeah.
have you ever seen like the show on Netflix about like the behind the scenes of making these films?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like that. The way they shot that was crazy. You know, it was kind of ahead of its time and for horror at the same time.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, and that was like Johnny Depp. I think that was like his first role or something, right? Or one of his first.
It was that and 21 Jump Street was like
Yeah.
like right after that. Yeah. 80s horror for is the best horror for sure.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like on the cutting room floor type of stuff, or are we gonna have those things?
What?
Are we gonna go see, like, are we going to get to see cutting room floor type of stuff? From Rob, like things that you've cut, bloopers, things like that.
Yeah, I have to go look at that footage for sure. I mean, going back to the film, that's why we're here today to talk. The original cut of the film was over 2 hours long. It was like 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that, like, going back to what I said earlier about like showing 15 seconds of him sitting in a cafe summed up 4 minutes of scenes, way better. Less is more. Also, I feel it's one thing I've really learned a lot in this process of making films, of making Rub. But yeah, the first initial cut was like a little over 2 hours. And so there's some scenes that you guys can have for real purposes as well. And then maybe in a few years I'll release a director's cut, but not for nothing. I think the 105-minute cut of the film, the final cut, is the best cut that there is. So it's like I don't even really want to put the other stuff out into the universe. I might someday, because there's a lot of stuff that you were talking about favorite scenes. There's one particular scene. It's like a tracking one shot of them getting to West's house and them walking inside. We lit it for like a couple hours. We rehearsed it for a while. We spent almost an entire day and night on this one shot that never made the film. Yeah, and it's like I had to detach myself away from it, and see if this particular shot and scene isn't helping move the story along. They had to kill your darlings, so and it was like nothing wrong with the performance. The shot is beautiful, it's great. It's just, for whatever reason, it was just, I don't want to say dead weight. I just feel like it's a stronger film without it, yeah, so that was a learning process for myself of stuff, and I think I'm going to take from that and make myself a better writer for the next one, to know 100,010% of what you need is what you're going to shoot. But at the same time, because of weather, it's I would say I'd rather have something and cut it than not have it and regret it for the rest of my life. That's one thing, but at the same time, it can make myself tighter as a writer as well, to make sure everything that's in that script is 100% needed for the film. But I also feel that sometimes what's on paper, when you read it and you're like reading a book versus seeing something visually, it can be two completely different things. I think that's why Stephen King usually hates most movies that are made after his books, because he just doesn't like seeing, he knows there's more depth in the book.
Exactly.
But what's more depth in a book or on a script doesn't really sometimes portray on screen, but yeah.
And last question is, where could fans follow you all at?
I'll let the talent go first.
I'm on Instagram, Micah Spayer.
Very simple.
Very simple.
Spayer.
Not Spyer. SPA.
Therefore, you don't have to spell it, so we have to know, Micah.
Yeah, I'm a real person. I do lots of movie post-production. I teach. I'm a girl dad. I'm real.
I'm real.
Represent.
Hilarious. Let's go, Jennifer.
His Instagram is
I am
PewDiePie 22265. Big Lips 101. What else? You so silly 486
Oh Lord.
at hotmail.com.
Hotmail.
Yahoo. It's at Yahoo. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Come on.
Jenny, I am Jenny Love at Gmail. I am Jenny Love on Instagram. That's it. I am Jenny Love with a Y. Jenny with a Y. That's it.
That's it.
Thank you, Rocco. Thank you very much. And Chris.
Oh yeah, we have to get Chris too.
Yeah, no one cares about me. No, it's I'm on Instagram. It's CFoxV1027, CFoxV1027. But more importantly, it's Rub Film 1. RUBFILM, the number 1 on Instagram. And then we also are on Twitter as well, and Threads and all that fun stuff.
Oh,
and Facebook. It's just Rub Film. And you can find the film on Amazon Prime. It's streaming right now on Amazon Prime. It's also on Comcast and Verizon cable as well. And then in November 1st, we'll be going to the AVOD platforms like Plex and Tubi and Freevee as well. And that, I think we're also going to do a short Blu-ray run as well for physical media, novelists out there. So we'll get those out to them. We've had a pretty small, people asking about if we have Blu-rays yet. So I think we're going to do a short run of those. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you all for taking time and coming on, and I can't wait for everyone to see Rub who haven't seen it yet. And yeah, it was really fun meeting everybody. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks
Rocco.
for having us, Rocco.
Thanks for having.
Definitely. Well, have a great night, everybody.
You too. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.